Hello everyone. We shall learn the poem Refugee Mother and Child, written by the Nigerian poet Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe was born in 1930 and died in 2013. Was a Nigerian novelist, poet, and critic who is regarded as the dominant figure in modern African literature. His debut novel and magnum opus is Things Fall Apart, the novel, published in 1958. Things Fall Apart occupies a pivotal place in African literature and remains the most widely studied, translated, and read African novel. He had written so many novels, poems, children's literature, critical pieces, essays, and all, and he is one of the prominent writers from Nigeria. This poem, Refugee Mother and Child, has got a historical background. In 1967, Biafra, 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 a region in Nigeria, declared independence. And from the very first day of their self declaration of independence, Nigeria had cut short or denied all the supplies to Biafran region. Though Biafra had sought the help of America and other European nations, because of the influence of Nigeria, no nations offered Biafra any help. So very soon, all the resources in Biafra went empty, and there was nothing to eat, there was nothing to live. Naturally, a civil war broke out in Biafra. People have lost their home, their job, their means for sustenance. There was no water, there was no clean water, there was no food, no provision for sanitation, and these people were forced to live in refugee camps. Chinua Achebe was a peace ambassador of Nigeria at these Biafran camps. In one of his visits to a Biafran camp, he saw or he was shocked by an image of a mother holding her child. We know the images of mother and child always gives us pleasure. Here we have three beautiful pictures of mother and their child. Mother happily holding their child. So their smiles on the lips of these mothers get transferred to our mind when we look into these pictures. So these mothers are very beautiful, lovely mothers holding their lovely children. As I told you, this poem is also about a mother and her son, her child. But this mother and child is not like these mothers and children. So, this poem is written in the background of Biafran Civil War, which lasted from 1967 to 1970. In 1970, Biafra went back to Nigeria and became part of Nigeria once again. So, that is how the Biafran Civil War has come to an end. We shall move on to the poem Refugee Mother and Child. No Madonna and child could touch that picture of a mother's tenderness for a son she soon will have to forget. The air was heavy with odors of diarrhea, of unwashed children, with washed out ribs and dried up bottoms, struggling in labored steps behind blown empty bellies. Most mothers there had long ceased to care, but not this one. She held a ghost smile between her teeth, and in her eyes the ghost of her mother's pride, as she combed the rust colored hair left on his skull, and then, singing in her eyes, began carefully to part it. In another life, this would have been a little daily act of no consequence before his breakfast and school. Now she did it like putting flowers on a tiny grave. Who is Madonna? Madonna is Mary, mother of Jesus Christ, and the child is Jesus Christ, the infant Jesus. Here we can see Madonna and child, Virgin Mary, holding her son, Jesus Christ. A very saintly picture which Christianity considers an epitome of motherhood. We are familiar with another picture of Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, which is called as Pieta by Michelangelo, where Virgin Mary is holding her son who was crucified. So, Virgin Mary holding the body of Jesus Christ. So, this picture has got a reflection, or this picture reminds us of Pieta also. Virgin Mary, Madonna, has lost her son, Jesus Christ, when Jesus Christ became 33 years old. And here, a refugee mother and child. But unlike Virgin Mary, who lost her son at the age of 33, this mother is going to lose this child immediately. No Madonna and child could touch that picture of a mother's tenderness for a son she soon would have to forget. We know Virgin Mary lost her child, Jesus Christ, when Jesus became 33 years old. But here, this mother in the second picture, this mother is going to lose this child immediately. Soon she would have to forget her son. The air was heavy with odors of diarrhea of unwashed children with washed out ribs and dried up bottoms, struggling in labored steps behind blown empty bellies. So the air in the refugee camp was heavy with odors, bad smells, foul smells of diarrhea, of unwashed children with washed out ribs. So, children, because of malnutrition and lack of food, they are afflicted with diarrhea, and there is nobody to clean them. So, they are living in this diarrhea, they are living in this excretion. Nasty smell is coming out from this camp, and their ribs are washed out. So here we can see the ribs of these children, washed out ribs, very lean. We can count the ribs, and dried up bottoms, their back portion, their buttocks, their bottoms are dried up. No flesh is remaining in their bottom. And because of their deformed shape, they are struggling to walk in labored steps, in difficult steps behind blown empty bellies. Here in this picture, you can see the blown up empty bellies like a balloon. Like a balloon, their empties are blown up. And because of this deformed shape, they are not able to walk. It is not because they have eaten anything. They didn't eat anything, but it is because of some disease caused by malnutrition and poverty. These blown up bellies have developed in them. The air was heavy with odors of diarrhea and of unwashed children with washed out ribs and dried up bottoms, struggling in labored steps behind blown empty bellies. Most mothers there had long ceased to care, but not this one. So, in the refugee camp, mothers are pretty sure that there is no need to care these children because the children will die very soon. There is no hope for them. So, because of that, in the midst of that hopelessness, mothers have stopped to care their children. But not this one, but not this mother. She held a ghost smile between her teeth, and in her eyes the ghost of her mother's pride. So, in the face of this mother, Achebe can see a ghost smile. Why he had described the mother's smile as a ghost smile? Maybe because of poverty and malnutrition, this mother's look is also like maybe like a ghost, or she may not be able to smile um, as a normal human being. So that is why the poet has referred the mother's smile as a ghost smile. And in her eyes, the poet could see, we could see a mother's pride. All mothers are proud about their children. Being a mother, motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood, everything are very much celebrated in our society. And it is something to be proud of. So we can see the mother's pride. When this child was born to her, she became very happy. And that pride could be seen in the eyes, though this mother is very sad, hopeless, and all, we could sense that pride remaining in the eyes of this mother. And what was she doing? She combed the rust colored hair left on his skull and then, singing in her eyes, began carefully to part it. So she was combing the hair which was left in the skull of this child because of malnutrition. Not much hair is left on the head of this child. And from the expression in the mother's eyes, we could sense that she was singing a lullaby, a final, a last lullaby to the child. In another life, this would have been a little daily act of no consequence before his breakfast and school. So it is a very casual and usual activity of every mother combing her son's or daughter's hair before sending him or her to school. So this is an act of little daily of no consequence, a daily act of no consequence before his breakfast and school. But here in this refugee camp, it is something deeper. This combing of hair and singing lullaby in her eyes mean something more. It has got deeper meanings. Now she did it like putting flowers on a tiny grave. The son is going to die very soon. And there is nobody in this refugee camp to give this child a proper burial. And this mother is not able to dig a grave in the mud and bury this child. So the mother is singing a lullaby, a final lullaby, a last lullaby to this child to make his death a little bit easeful. And she was combing the hair as if she was putting flowers on a tiny grave, as if putting flowers on a tiny grave. കുട്ടി മരിച്ച് കുട്ടിയുടെ കല്ലറയിൽ, കുട്ടിയുടെ കുഴിമാടത്തിൽ അമ്മ പൂക്കൾ കൊണ്ട് വയ്ക്കുന്നത് പോലെയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ കുഞ്ഞിൻ്റെ തലയിൽ തലോടുന്നത്. അമ്മ is pretty sure that ദിസ് ചൈൽഡ് ഇസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ഡൈ. ഇനി ഈ ഉറക്കത്തിൽ നിന്നൊരു ഉണർവ് ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, അവസാനത്തെ ഉറക്കമാണ്. മരണത്തിലേക്ക് പോകുന്ന ഈ കുഞ്ഞിന് പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ബറിയലോ, അവസാനമായിട്ടൊരു കുട്ടി ആഗ്രഹിച്ചതുപോലെ കരഞ്ഞ് തളർന്ന് ഭക്ഷണത്തിന് വേണ്ടി കരഞ്ഞ് തളർന്ന് ഉറങ്ങുന്ന കുഞ്ഞിന് അവസാനമായിട്ട് ഒരു തുള്ളി വെള്ളമോ ഭക്ഷണമോ കൊടുക്കാൻ ഈ അമ്മയ്ക്ക് ഇല്ല. സോ ഫ്രം ദീസ് പിക്ചേഴ്സ് we can see the situation. These are all pictures from Biafran refugee camp. So while you seeing the shrunken breasts and body of this mother, we can understand that there is there is no drop of, there is even a single drop of breast milk or a particle of food to be given to this child. Here ends the poem. These are some of the pictures from Biafran refugee camps. They are waiting for here, they are waiting for their food. Children eagerly, anxiously, helplessly waiting for food. Children, blown up bellies, washed out ribs. Here, this mother is holding her child. See the size of the child, the situation of the child. And to sum up, this is a poem written by the Nigerian poet Chinua Achebe. The poem is based on the Nigerian Civil War or the Biafran War, which happened between 1967 and 1970. Here we can see a contrast between Madonna and the child, that is, Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, and the refugee mother and child. The bleak picture of the refugee camp is portrayed. The mother knows that she is singing the last lullaby to her child. She does it as if putting flowers to the grave of the child. Achebe invites our attention to the brutal realities happening around us. So the poem serves a social function. Wars are happening around us. In many parts of the world, war is a constant phenomenon. We have to thank God that we are safe from such wars. War is a man-made disaster, and the most affected group of people are children. So that is why, while speaking about photojournalism and all, while speaking about war, some pictures where children are photographed or pictured get white currency. You are familiar with these pictures. This is a photograph by Kevin Carter, which won him Pulitzer Prize in 1994. This is a picture from Sudan in 1993, the famine-stricken Sudan. And this picture, the first picture, it is widely known as the vulture and the little girl. So this little girl in the famine-stricken Sudan is awaiting its death, awaiting her death, or the child is almost dead. We know vultures eat only dead bodies. So this vulture is waiting to the death of this girl. Kevin Carter photographed this picture and he got Pulitzer Prize. But later, at the age of 33, he committed suicide because from every part of the world, he had received so much of criticism. Instead of taking this picture, he could have saved this child from the attack of the vulture. But he didn't do it. He photographed the picture and went away. Maybe because of the prick of conscience, he committed suicide at the age of 33. The Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist committed suicide at the age of 33. And the second picture is Kurdi, or Alan Kurdi, who was a 3-year-old Syrian boy of Kurdish ethnic background. The Kurdi family had reportedly been trying to reach Canada and their boat got capsized and the child died. And his death attained global currency or popularity when the Turkish journalist Nilüfer Demir photographed this picture in 2015, and the refugee crisis in Syria became a prominent issue in the world, or the world attended to the issue because of this picture, Alan Kurdi. These are all bleak pictures of war, the man made disaster. So, we also can put flowers on the tiny graves of these children. Thank you.